Alright, so now we're about to do a word problem. It's not that bad. So let's just look at it sentence by sentence. Reserved seat tickets for the AHS game cost $4 each. So for each reserved ticket, $4. And general admission tickets cost $3 each. After the game, the turnstile, the thing that, the turnstile is like that little thing where you push the little bar and it rotates and it counts each person that goes through. So it showed that there were 1,787 people in attendance. So let's stop right there and see if we can make an equation out of this. So we know that there are two types of ticket holders, right? The reserved tickets and the general admission tickets. So I'm going to denote both of those types of ticket holders by R and, let me see, G. Reserved and general admission. What do we know about both of those? Well, we know that the sum of those types of ticket holders equals 1,787. So that's the first equation. Now let's keep looking at what it says. The total was $5,792. So that means all the ticket sales cost that much. So we have to make another equation out of that information. Well, we know that for each reserved ticket is $4. So that's $4 times the number of reserved ticket holders plus how much does general admission cost? $3 for each general admission. And that total is going to be the $5,792. And that's it. We have a system of equations. And so we can solve it by any method. I'm just going to go ahead and use substitution because we can easily isolate one of our variables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate R in the first equation. And I'm going to say R equals, well, if I'm trying to solve for R, that means I'm subtracting G from both sides, right? So I'm going to end up with 1787 minus G. We can use that R and substitute it here. So that's exactly what I'm about to do. For R, well, what do we know about R? We know that it's equal to 1787 minus G, right? For R plus 3G equals 5792. One equation, and the only variable we have is G. So I'm going to solve for G. Distribute 4 times 1,787 gives me 7,148 minus 4G plus 3G equals 5792. Alright, it is a process, but we're getting there. So remember, we're trying to solve for G. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 7,148 from both sides. So that's 5792 minus 7148. That gives me negative 1,356. But look what else I have. I have negative 4G plus 3G. That's just negative 1G. Right? So remember, we're trying to solve for G. So that means we have to divide both sides by negative 1. So whenever I do that, what do I get? I get G equals positive 1,356. We're halfway there. We found G. Now we have to find R. But what do we know about R? We know that R equals 1787 minus G. And I'm getting that information right here. So we see that R equals 1787 minus G. But what is G? 1356. I'm typing that into my calculator, and it gives me R equals 431. And we did it. It said the question asked us to find the number of each kind of ticket sold. Well, we know that the reserve tickets equals 431 people, and then the general admission equals 1,356 people. So what I'm going to do before I say that's the final answer is I'm going to go ahead and check this one to make sure. So let's see. We know that the total number of people is 1,787. So in my calculator, I'm going to type 431 plus 1,356, and that should give me 1787, and it does. So we checked the first equation. Now we're going to check the second equation. 4 times R, 4 times 431 gives us 1724, and then it says 3 times G. So I'm going to write this down so I don't forget it. So 4R equals 1724, and then 3G. In my calculator, I'm going to type 3 times, what is G? 1356. And that gives me 4,068. So if we did this correctly, that 1724 plus the 4,068 should give me 5792, and it does. So we're good. That's it. That's our final answer. It's not that bad.